Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Cities Skylines 2. This is episode number 6. We got ahead of ourselves on a few things last time around. We resolved some issues last time around. We really worked towards building industry out to where we could try to work on that balance quite a bit last time out. We have 2 million. We've got plenty of cash, and we're certainly growing at a rate that's making the cash not be an issue. I mean, slowly but surely, our balance is getting higher, not smaller, even though we're not actually making a positive balance. But right now, we've got some serious needs when it comes to housing. We have a real shortage. There's not enough customers to go around because there's plenty of jobs, but there's not enough people. So we need to help with that growth. We're up to 9,400 and still growing. There's still some houses available, not much. But before I jump in and work on our population and building a couple new housing areas, because we definitely need some additional housing areas. We're going to go ahead and we've got 9 tiles, but more importantly, 8 progression points available to us. Now, I've worked a lot on roads. We don't need a grand bridge right now. We don't need underground parking buildings when we're hardly using the parking buildings that we have. 10,000 people do not require that much, so we certainly don't need to get into that. Electricity, the gas power plant is still serving the need, so we don't need to get into any of the other areas yet. We certainly will. We've recently done well with the water treatment plant to help us out. I think medical is still one of those areas where we're not doing fantastic, so it's probably time to get both the crematorium and the hospital on the go, so I'm going to unlock both of those. The incinerator plant will certainly help us as well. The recycling center only handles so much of our needs. We're going to get the incinerator plant. I now have 3 points remaining. The college, we have a lot of people in need of college, so we're going to get that on the go, and that leaves us with 2 points. Definitely don't need to get into the university just yet. Our small stations are holding us off for a little bit longer. We will get to those soon enough. Water is certainly a good option, but our needs aren't that high. The new cargo station is doing just fine. Parks could definitely be a direction to go, or some business options that can make some money. The post-sorting facility would be 2 points. You know what? Let's do it. So plenty of new things to buy and introduce, but the housing shortage is a bigger immediate need. We have 2 areas to populate. One's going to actually be pretty quick and easy, and we'll need some services for it. This is one big, long street of housing. It's pretty easy, but we're going to fill in this outer pocket with essentially a second street, and maybe put a little bit of services in to boost this area. Game known for lagging a lot more than you would want or expect, is actually starting to rear its ugly head and show itself to me right now in this rain. Last time out, no problems. This time, I am experiencing. I can tell that there's a little bit of a lag spike happening here, but nothing too severe. Alright, regular 2-way road. We'll go straight first, and we'll do it near the farm. Looks like, I could really squeeze in more than just the 2. 1 house is all we're losing. See, we'd have to get all the way to here. That's clearly not going to work. But if we... Looks like there's enough about this to do kind of more than one thing with it as well. And speaking of, we're gonna get down low, and we're gonna go under this bridge. Perfect. That's gonna add in a little more industrial, just a little pocket, little commercial, and we find a way to get back to the main road. Gets a second route out of here. That's good. That's very good. Now that brings us back to here, and this is going to be kind of the main road coming back. Can we turn this into a four-way? I think I can. Hey, we did it. That cost me 2 houses. That's okay. They'll live. Find another home. Over the railroad tracks, beyond just the one here. That's a pretty big gap between the two locations. We lose one business, we lose 3 houses, and we've added a whole new area. There is need for services here, so yeah, there is absolutely nothing medical clinic wise. Let's throw one in. Police, not terrible coverage. It's covered for now. It'll do. It'll do. So, zoning. We need just a little bit of commercial here. Let's go with kind of by the route here. We do have some medium density need. We have some mixed housing need. Let's throw in some mixed housing there. New signature building available. The Iron Press building. Books to nourish the mind and soul with luxury apartments on top. The bottom floor. Bookstore stocks everything from the ordinary to the esoteric.
All my expertise derives merely from a life devoted to the
Alright, we need at least one parking structure if I'm going to put some medium density housing in this area. I was not planning on doing any, but here we are.
Professor
Please arise.
As a traveler from my homeland, I long to hear it too.
Okay, so just a little bit more on the medium density stuff, and then that parking's obviously right next to it. Okay, and then
there now, my good fellow.
regular roll housing. Oop, no chirper, no chirper. I don't want you right now. Alright, that takes care of lots and lots of new housing, but only a little bit of medium density went into this area. I might need to throw in an elementary school out here with the kind of population that there's now going to exist, so, you know, can I even fit an elementary in back over here? Because they are definitely not in reach. Yes. We very much can fit in. So we're going to put the elementary there. That's going to cover that area. And give those residents a chance to head to elementary school. Medium density is still very much a need. Commercial is need. Industrial is continuing to be a need. So the industrial will kind of continue on through here. And to address the medium need, this area is going to serve that need. It's definitely a better transportation zone that can handle a higher load. But speaking of higher load, we're going to need to work on that. And we have an issue. We have a crash. So we've had a bit of a collision here, which is creating a little bit of a bottleneck. Buses have nowhere to go. Speaking of buses, let's check in on that transportation flow. Taxi, 384, about the same as what it was, but 4,000 people. We only have 10,000. Which, by the way, that's grown by 1,000 already since we've started this episode, but 4,000 people using the 6 bus lines. The bus lines are very handy. Very, very handy. We're almost up to 2,000 on the trains, so the train is providing a decent source for us. Cargo via trucks is up to 5,000. Cargo through the trains is up to 8,000, so that's all very much on the rise. But this one pocket continues to be a concern. It's all kinds of backed up. Boy, this traffic all seems to be wanting to head a single direction. Solution here is going to be a traffic circle, if I can get it in without destroying things. Triple fender bender with these three, but the buses are finally creeping along and getting into... There you go. Okay, there's our road maintenance vehicle. Is here to deal with the accident. It'll be dealt with in time. Yeah, this particular intersection has certainly created more of a headache than it has resolved. This side's flowing okay. This side is very much not. That taxi's been sitting there for a long time. And it's got everybody else backed up completely. He's literally just blocking the road. We have a little gap coming though, so he's gonna get moving. Ready, set, and go. There's our road maintenance vehicle. Part of this is happening because they finally got that accident cleared up. It's starting to clear up already, yeah. So I think that accident was a big part of this traffic jam, of this backup. I wonder if a simple off-ramp straight to here would clear that up. I have not figured out how to do simple off-ramps though. There you go. Okay, so we've added kind of an early exit off-ramp to that side. That's going to pull some of that traffic away. Right, this side's already not backed up anywhere near as bad, but it's going to help with that flow from the other side and kind of what's happening there. And look, it's already freed up. Traffic's gone. Traffic is gone. And I did figure out how to put on one lane there. Okay, housing needs though immediately right back where it was, even with all that new population and 10,800 people. So it's definitely time to do something with this particular area. I'm going to start with one more key road that's going to cut through here, and we're going to put it... Alright, these businesses are going to have to go short term. It is time to upgrade this street. That'll replace those businesses, but it was desperately needed to have that in place. Alright, so the road network for this next pocket is ready to go. I've kept it to a minimum. I'm going to go ahead and add in one more traffic circle, as this is definitely the busier intersection out of all of this. So we'll get that piece together. But have a little fork here. We have a little bit of a fork here behind the high school. Do I want to add in one more entrance down by the high school to give it two ways in and out? This one's a little bit bigger. Yeah, we're... No, you know what? It's a small enough residential area. We're fine. We are fine. And then I also added in this back road. It does have the extra entrance back here. But it's time for especially some medium density stuff. We have not done enough with the medium density. little mixed housing again. We'll put that. No, that's going to be commercial. Well, there's your double road. That's your place for your medium density on the main road. Let's add in a larger parking lot for this area. Okay, we have a little need for low rent housing. You know what? Let's run that along near the freeway. Now, as someone who's lived right next to the highway in the low rent type housing once upon a time, I get it. I know what you're dealing with. Okay, now proper residential. We're going to add in... No, you know what? Let's just let that be for a moment. Not enough vehicles, huh? Okay. Well, let's fix that then. Employees 14. Passengers waiting 41. I like that. That's good. That is good. We do not need to add a parking fee for this. We want them to take the bus. Extra platforms, okay. A taxi stop. You know what? Let's add the taxi stop in. And then by the way, that balance of ours, this is the closest it's been in a very long time to neutral. 1200. Still negative balance, but getting there. This traffic is no longer backed up. That little extra highway exit is relieving at least some of that pressure. Wondering if I could do what I did on the other side with a little added bonus. An extra way off. We could certainly do a lane here for that. Tempted to have something down here to the main road, not to the smaller side road, but just having those alternative in and out ways definitely make a difference. Dang, that's a much bigger housing right there, by the way. A lot more people involved in that. Oh, that's finally filled in all the way. It was empty for a long time. A lot of it. Need to check in on our statistics here at some point and see how we're doing. It's a bit of a traffic jam here. Definitely caused by that bridge, which I'm not sure why it's so bad, but might require a traffic circle. All right, well, the demand right now is industrial. And we've kind of filled it in. Now, there's still this little pocket here. And that will definitely take care of a short term. But I think it's time we pick up these couple of tiles and fill in, 2 rows here. I've got demand down for a moment. We have those new industries that are available to us. We're going to jump into those, but first, positive balance. First time, positive balance. In fact, it's jumping rather rapidly now, 111,000 positive. Services slowly growing, right? We were at 1.3 before, now it's up to 1.8. We're spending an extra 500K, but we've essentially doubled, or nearly anyway, doubled our revenue. In particular, taxes have gone up a lot, especially the commercial tax. Wow. I think we've got some industries that have certainly leveled up. Service fees, providing more and more. The electricity fees are up to 100K. The education fees are approaching 100K. Service trade. The exported electricity is slowly decreasing because we're using more and more of it, but we're still making $500,000. That government subsidy is almost non-existent now. But we finally have it. We have a positive balance now. On the production side, huge surplus in the lumber industry. That's going to continue to be a big one for us. And as much as I'm trying to help with things like grain, the food supply is just not enough. We have to import a lot of it. The farmland is pretty weak. Pretty weak around here. But I took a cotton farm, which was a nothing. Like, it was not good land. Still, we're making 48 tons a month from that one cotton farm that's barely touching some good land. So I do think that we could absolutely just find a way to build farms. Like, this farm may not be the most efficient. This is that one, but it's already level 3. It's got 42 employees, and it's 98% efficient. Cheap and Random is producing cotton, and yet it's barely, like, this little pocket right here is the only good land that we're getting. The rest of this, none of it is good land. It's just, I filled out that pocket because I wanted to get the farm as big as I could and see what happens. And I think I've made a good call on that one. But that's covering a lot of our industry right now, and there's plenty of room in here for more forestry, for example. I think we can go a little bit deeper and add another row back here for housing and maybe connect that up. Plenty more forestry available. We could put some farms up in this area, though I don't currently have it. That's our border right now. We do have some commercial demand arising at the moment. That's for one. Get some of that, like, right there. Which, that, by the way, has me thinking that this, like, vegetable farm, even though I've picked the boundaries based on the limitations, I think I might as well pick the boundaries based on the circular limitations and fill this puppy up. I'm a big fan of mixed housing. We're going to go ahead and put some more in, which is going to do two things. One, it's going to give us more commercial and medium density residential, but also it's going to put more traffic on this street, which there's just not going to be enough room for, which means realistically it's going to put more traffic into the parking lot, and that's going to be a source of revenue for us. See if that works out. That is going to be a pretty hefty sum of people in that space, though. All right, it's time. We unlocked some things. Let's make it happen. A hospital. We do have some clinic coverage, but we have that clear area that is not currently covered. So let's try to get in and see what we can do here with a full-blown hospital. How big is it? Right there. There's your hospital. Oh, buddy, 1.8 million. How much is that going to actually help us with? I'm not sure it's time for that yet. What's this going to do? Upkeep is insane. Patient capacity. The ambulances, I mean, it covers a larger area, but medical clinic, basic health care for a small area, can pick up patients with ambulances, helps citizens in its service area remain healthier, can be upgraded with ambulance depot and an extension wing. Maybe we just need another clinic for this area, and we'll worry about the hospital at a later date. 60,000, much cheaper, much higher capacity, will help the health of the people in the area. So yeah. Death care, crematorium. Okay, new one. But let's make sure we get this. I'm assuming that this is going to have a large coverage area. In fact, it has no coverage area. It's just something that's placed. So let's put this. There you go, across the street. Almost. That doesn't quite fit. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. It's going next door to the medical clinic. When one fails, use the other one. It's actually not even meeting the full needs. Not quite. That takes care of 100. We're losing 121 people per month. So we can add 25,000 more spaces for hearses. Refrigerator expansion, extra storage. Okay. Those come at a cost, though. I think the additional incinerator is gonna be handy for this thing. By the way, upgrades. That's how they look. Some of them just make your building a little bit bigger. Kind of cut into it.
Bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer
space,
shoes
more
while
hearses.
sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good for the community.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after this.
We've recently been having what some are calling the worst kind of luck there is. That's right. Today we are talking about the increased likelihood that you'll die.
That's not exactly what an increased death rate measures.
We've already turned our balance back to negative again as we add in these services. So we only just made it, and here we go, increasing costs once again. See, we have a real parking issue here in this area too. I think we've got some larger housing back here. That's probably another parking structure warranted, at least a small one. Wow, this incineration plant is huge, but it's gonna go in 1 freaking million. 210,000 upkeep. Produces electricity up to 250 megawatts. Okay. Processing capacity is going to process 44 tons a month. So it's going to produce electricity for us. It's definitely a good way to take some of that garbage and reacclimate it in a good way. Right now, our garbage processing, we're only processing 13 tons and producing 118. So, you know, we're barely covering 10%. The landfill availability is at 92%. It's a pretty big one. So we do want something like this, but man, oh man, is that an expense that we are not ready to cover just yet. So we might have unlocked it, but it's gonna have to wait. Let's check in on this recycling center, because the stored garbage processing speed's almost maxed out. Is there any more upgrades? Yes, garbage truck depot. More garbage trucks will bring more stuff in, and it'll help us process more. Hazardous waste collection adds an extra ton per month, but for 40K. And then increased storage. The storage has not been an issue. Enough trucks and that extra collection point seem helpful. The trucks are 30K a month, so I really don't want that right now. Process more means we're gonna suck it up. Not yet time. Might be time for the college though. Elementary coverage. Let's check in on that. Industrial does not need elementary coverage. Okay, there's a little bit of missing elementary coverage, but not severe. Bet you if we were to expand, it would cover a little more ground. There's a big pocket here. That area lacks elementary coverage. This pocket back here lacks elementary coverage. I thought for sure this one would get us there, but it's not quite doing the job. But the high school... Apparently the high school is just a high school. Like, it's not showing any zonal coverage at all. It's more about the capacity. So elementary school, okay, 1280 eligible, but we've got 1276. We're almost at capacity, so we really are covering it just fine. The high school, 309 students and counting. It's growing. Eligible's 550 though, but that's still well below capacity. But the college, 4,000 are eligible to attend college. That's why we have got to get the college in. But what are we looking at? 750K with an expensive upkeep, but we've already seen that just from 3 elementaries and 1 high school, we're bringing in nearly 100,000. And that's with 1,500 students. We have nearly 4,000 available to a college, and we all know college is much more expensive, especially in the US. I don't know if they are going off that kind of funding. Probably not, but student capacity is only 1,000. Oh dang. Alright, we have a college, and we have a new milestone as a result. Milestone number 8, we are now a big town. Congratulations, city is coming along nicely. 1.9 million for the reward. Easily offsets that 700K we just spent. 8 more upgrade points, 10 more tiles. I'll limit up. High density housing and oil drilling now available. Alright, college. What can you do? Extension wing adds 500 for the student capacity. Kind of expensive though. College library will do what? Library with its extended selection of textbooks provides students with better chances of graduating. So improved graduation rate. Let's not worry about that just yet. This thing just got started. It has a population of 0. Let's not throw ourselves into some massive debt. Meanwhile, the high school, though, well below its maximum dropout rates, very low. What do we have for upgrades here, and what do they do? Capacity up. Better chances of graduating. Right now the dropout rate's 1%, so we're okay. Plus 40 outdoor recreation for the sports field. Attractiveness is 25. Dang, that's cool. But I think it goes on the back. No, it doesn't have to go on the back, but it would definitely have to go. It's a big one. We'd have to... Yeah. That one's not happening right now. This elementary is kind of covering some area that isn't fully covered. What can we do? Children's clinic. Health. For what's the 10K a month. Capacity. And well-being. Okay, let's just check each school. Okay. That's definitely more full, but that one's barely even attended right now. Fire! I know we have fire service in this area. It's yellow, but it's, you know, it's still existent. There's the fire trucks on their way. Very quickly, those bus routes have become quite popular indeed, up to 12,000 a month. We only have a population of 13,800 people. I mean, it's amazing that that's even happening, which means the potential for further expansion of our bus routes is certainly an acceptable path, prospect. But each little neighborhood, you know, as long as it's got some sort of route connecting it, you're in good shape. But like the new neighborhood to the east, right? This area, I guess that would be this area up here, right? And then that new area to the northwest, I don't have any bus stops nearby to that, so might want to do something regarding that. But check it in here. Taxi depot we have. And I don't have taxi stops. I've intentionally placed the taxi as a just come and go kind of thing. Bus line tool, one-way public. I haven't done any of this. Public transport lanes certainly could help buses move along a little bit faster on our street. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add in our road up here. And link that up. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in a fire station here. We have partial coverage out here, but it's not great. This will really add to... Oh, it's not that far away to that station. I see how we're getting partial coverage here. It's like two stations really combined to give us what we need. With this opening, no. What about police? There's also a police station there. They're both in a similar place that kind of overlap. Right now, what we have is fire service in this neighborhood and this neighborhood. So each of them kind of combine to cover this area, and each of them combine to cover this area, just about getting the job done. Because we start to push out a little bit further in both of those other two areas, that's where you'll want to add. There you go. Right on the water. Okay, we have a mixed residential one. This one. +1 to attractiveness citywide. +1%. +4 well-being within 820 yards. Nice. Iron press building. Now, the area that I have done the mixed residential has been here, so maybe keep it in trend. Put it right there. We have an industrial one as well. This is the chemical plant. The nasty chemical plant. Well, this would certainly be a downwind type situation. 8 development points at this big town stage. Let's see what can we do. The telecom tower, the server farm look like a good way to make money. That might be a good option, as I'm not seeing any big needs right now that we need to be spending 8 points on. We're starting to get to things costing 8 points. There's a university, but we've got to get some people graduating college to need the university, so we're definitely not there yet. The Firewatch Tower certainly could be a useful addition. Reduce the chance of a forest fire. Okay. That definitely seems like a good option. That welfare office might also be helpful to help with crime. Crime has been a bit on the rise. That would be 2 points if we spent that. And then we could maybe spend 2 points on another park and then get one of these. Yeah, I like that idea. I had to shift the chemical plant over a little bit. That was having a little conflict with the parking entrance and the location right over here coming down. You see a lot of the people are on their own, kind of moving over towards the plant right now with it at its new location. That did involve having to get one more tile for the time being. I have 15 available though, so no shortage of tiles. At some stage here, I want to get this whole island and fill it out. There's plenty of forestry as an option. This might be all farms and industrial type area. At this point, I might squeeze farms in kind of anywhere I can and see what I can get tonnage wise without the proper farmland, because there's just not enough farmland on this map. And so either we're going to be importing a lot, which is going to come at a cost, or we have to find a way to work it out. Speaking of working it out, the balance has now worked it out. Those new industrial areas, the new regions that I put in have returned the balance to positive. In fact, we're a good 3,000 to the good, much better than we were before even. So population has jumped. We've added 50% to our population. In fact, more than. It was about 9k where we started the episode. We're now at 15k. So are we growing exponentially, or have I just had this good of a phase? We certainly added in a lot of housing in this phase. Plenty more to do, plenty of demand right now as well. More expansions to come for sure. But I love seeing a positive balance, because that makes big projects that much easier when you're actually making money and able to add to the balance instead of slowly subtract from the balance and having to rely on those level ups. Those level ups then become really easy to put into the big projects. But as already noted, I'm being careful on how I grow and expand things as it is, and I just messed with the... There we go. So I've added in a number of Firewatch towers. That's going to help prevent the forest fires here. We've covered here and through this area. We've covered this area. And then, of course, the heart of the city here. Or is that really the heart of the city? What is the heart of the city right now? It's hard to say. I mean, Old Town. Not that any of it's only been a matter of months. do still have some pockets. We could add in some more medium residential, relatively easy, but it's clear that I'm kind of centering the heavy population base near the freeway, so that there's not as much of a burden onto the traffic. It's been one thing I've been pretty careful of doing, keeping some sort of easy access to that freeway as you grow and expand. And as we're going this way, there isn't easy access. It's getting further and further away from that freeway. So one thing I'm going to want to do in the near future is I'm going to want, and there is a connection down this way, so I'm wondering how I want to do this first. Do I want to expand right on down to here and open this highway up, redo this intersection, and have your freeway ramp there, your freeway ramp there, turn this into actual freeway, open that highway up, which is obviously that main route that kind of cuts through here. Maybe we can get that to some additional lanes at some point. There's not a ton of traffic connecting those two areas right now, but there's a bit. It's definitely a bit. It's not absent. There's something. So, lot to think about. Noise reduction might be something I want to get into soon. That is in your road option, the road services. We can do sound barriers, which will certainly help. But the complaints over road noise does not seem to be so bad, but maybe that's just because I'm not seeing it. Noise pollution, there you go. Yeah, none of it's severe. Certainly not severe. The industrial is a bit noisier. The medium density housing stuff is all a bit noisier. Adding in sound barriers would be advisable down along here. Alright, well, plenty to do, plenty more to see from this city. We're really just starting to scratch the surface and just starting to reach the phase where there's a lot more people here. A lot more traffic, there's a lot more cars on the road. So how do we handle that? Transportation is once again going to be a bigger concern going forward than it is currently, and we're gonna have to start addressing that. But also the demand is so high, we're gonna hit a point where there's no room for growth if we don't continually expand. So choices to make, decisions to be had on how to proceed in the near future for sure. Lot to think about. We have a big pocket up here, of course, that we can expand into without even taking away that lumber industry. There's a lot of residential that could be added in up this way, and of course commercial, add more freeway connections, another rail connection. We could add another train stop in at some point if we wanted, because that nearest train stop's way back over here, so we could easily add in a second stop that far down the line. Seems a pretty decent option. So yeah, choices, what to do next. But in the short term, we've done a lot, we've grown a lot. Happy with the direction we're headed. That's going to do it for this episode though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.